welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. We're over at Si's house today.
Hi there.
And we are playing on the Zone Mortalis. So we've broken this out and I have written a set of Zone Mortalis rules to use in 8th edition. I will very briefly go through them, just the York notes, as it were, if you're the same age as me and went to a school in England. What special rules are there in Zone Mortalis? There are a few things where there's a special detachment to use that I've called a close contact detachment. You get 1 to 2 HQs, 1 to 3 troops, 2 to 4 elites, 0 to 2 fast attack and 0 to 1 heavy, and you get 2 command points if you take that. We're playing a nice friendly game, and a lot of the Zone Mortalis rules I've seen made up on the internet, there are some really finicky rules about size of models. We are playing the rule of, if you reckon it will probably fit through the gap, you can get it through the gap. Things can squeeze through gaps if they need to. One of the things that I have done to my Zone Mortalis, as you'll notice, I now have doors. See here, these are the nice Necromunda plastic doors that Games Workshop have released. They said on their nice press release that they fitted in the Zone Mortalis. For anyone out there who has a Zone Mortalis thinking about getting these doors, they do fit, as you can see, but only after I've taken a grinding wheel to them. They are about that much extra too big, I reckon. Maybe 5mm too wide for the gaps on mine. They've said on Facebook that basically the Zone Mortalis tiles, when they're made, are not particularly accurately made. They can be different sizes, and the one they measured to make sure they'd fit was obviously a large gap one, and loads of people out there have the small gap ones. So just a point of note on that, but you can file them down, and they are a really good addition. They really blend in really well. So, what Zone Mortalis rules extra have we got? So doors. Doors are either open or closed. They can be locked. If they're locked, we put these little red bits of plastic on top of them, meaning you have to blow them up there. Toughness 8, 3 wounds, 3 up save. What else have we got? Measuring and targeting. You cannot measure anything through the walls of the Zone Mortalis. So if I have a model here, and another model here, and this one has a 3-inch aura, that aura would not touch this guy because you have to measure around. And the same goes for psychic power targeting, everything like that. So nothing goes through the doors of the doors on the walls of the Zone Mortalis, just because it stops some really cheesy stuff happening. Next up, we have tactical reserves. If you are deep striking or in other way deploying after the start of the game, it's basically a bit more dangerous. You have to roll a dice on a 5+, the unit takes D3 mortal wounds. If it's a unit of a single model, it gets -1 to that roll, so it basically makes it a 6+, and for every 5 models in the unit, it gets +1 to that roll. So if you're deep striking a unit of 15 models in, then it takes more damage. I believe also if there's 10 or more models, it takes D6 instead of D3. Next up, we have movement. If you move overly fast in the Zone Mortalis, you have a similar chance of taking damage. You might take a couple of mortal wounds. Basically, if you move more than 9 inches in the movement phase, you have to roll a dice, and the unit can take D3 mortal wounds. The further you move, so if you move more than 12, more than 15, there is a greater chance of that happening. It's basically because you might hit your head if you're using a jump pack. Using a bike round a deserted derelict spaceship, probably not your best plan. So bear that in mind. Terrain, we're using standard old obscure rules. So if you're obscured by terrain, so if there's a space marine hiding behind this bit of rubble in the centre of this room, if he's 50% obscured, he gets a bonus to his save from the firing unit. Okay, next up, shooting weapons. There's a rule called fire and shrapnel, which is a carryover from the old Zone Mortalis rules. Basically, any weapon that has a random number of shots, so used to be a blast or a flame weapon in the previous version of the rules, gets to re-roll the number of hits it has if the owner would like to. Melee, there is reaction firing. So Overwatch shots hit on 5s instead of 6s. This is to make shooting a bit better, because obviously in the close confines you're not going to get to use your long range weapons or range weapons of any sort particularly well. There's also a rule for using Overwatch against models you can't see at the start of their assault phase. So if you're charging from, say, around this corner here, this way. There's a rule that lets you Overwatch on a 6+. I won't go into the nuances of it, but just in case you see us using that. And there's a couple of extra stratagems that you can also use in Zone Mortalis. One lets you deep strike safely, one makes your Overwatch slightly better, one lets you blow up a door if you're close to it, And the last one lets you cut people down as they run away from you in close combat. Okay, them's are the rules for actually using the Zone Mortalis. Now we'll go on to the quick mission rules. So, Si and I are playing 65 power level, was it?
65, yeah.
65 power level, so that works out about 1,300 points in old money. We each have a set-up zone. One of us will set up there in a 2 foot by 1 foot section at that side of the board. The other is setting up over here in this 2 foot by 1 foot section. There are various ways to gain victory points, as in most missions. So let's start off. Over here, if you control this computer console in that locked door room, at the end of your turn you get 2 victory points. And you also get to lock or unlock any door on the table. So you can open up fire lanes, close off from retreating units. Lots of useful stuff by taking control of that. But it is guarded by an automated defence turret. It's kind of like one of those sentry turrets from Aliens. It will fire at the first thing that moves within its range every turn. It's behind this door, so you open that door, it's going to shoot you. So it's a bit dangerous to go in there and get it. But once you're inside the room, you're not in line of sight. So if you can get in there, you can then use the gun to cover your back. So 2 victory points a turn can be made up in there. We also have the medical centre down there. If you control that at the start of your turn, you get to designate an enemy unit. If you kill that enemy unit this turn, then you get an extra victory point. Down here we have a comm centre, which I've knocked over with my sleeve, obviously. Pick him up. Comm centre, if you control that at the start of your turn, you get to make a leadership check on 2d6. If you get equal to or under your leadership, you score a victory point for deciphering the communications the old battered space barge you're on has taken. Over here we have the ammo dump. It's got loads of ammo and stuff. It's got fortifications on either side. If you control that at the end of the game, it's worth a victory point. But also, the unit that's controlling it at any point during the game gets to reroll 1s to shoot. So it's kind of like a place to go and take and then defend. You get 1 point for killing the opposing warlord, as usual. And then the last way to gain victory points, you'll see these white tokens. There are 8 of them scattered throughout the board. They're to kind of like encourage you to go into the various different areas. On those, 6 of them have red X's, but 2 of them are marked as a little data package. Si and I don't know where they are. We shuffle them up and randomly put them on the board. If you control it at the end of your turn, you get to flip it up. If it comes up as the data packet, you get a little data packet marker. A little there, kind of like a data thing. And that counts as a relic, which is worth 2 victory points if you still have it at the end of the game. That is the mission. Let's see how we get on. We're going to do armies now. Okay, so 65 power level of Blood Angels today, and I have managed to be fully painted. And Si is fully painted as well. Oh, it is a good day. So, I am being led by Chief Librarian Mephiston. He is leading one of the close combat detachments. He has a tactical squad, and he has 2 dreadnoughts. So the tactical squad have combat squadded. One has a grav cannon and some bolt gun marines. The other has a combi plasma sergeant and a plasma gun and some bolt gun marines. We have a Death Company dreadnought with 2 blood talons. He's got a melter gun, a magna grapple, storm bolter. And we have a Contemptor dreadnought with a Carey's assault cannon and a storm bolter. Then we have a Sanguinary Priest. He has taken a jump pack, pretty dangerous in the Zone Mortalis, might hit his head, but it does let him get around the battlefield and heal up what he needs to heal up. He has taken a troop choice of a scout squad. They have a heavy bolter and a power fist on the sergeant. He has a stern guard squad. The sergeant is a bit shy, he's hiding behind his power fist there. They have 2 heavy flamers, and the rest of them are armed with their special issue bolt guns, and the sergeant has the aforementioned power fist. We have a Terminator squad. 3 of them have Thunderhammer Storm Shields, and the other 2 have Lightning Claws. And lastly, we have a Chapter Ancient, or a Company Ancient, I think he technically is. He has the Blood Angels Relic banner, which basically gives everything a 5+ feel no pain within 6 inches of him. And he has a bolt gun. That is my 65 power level, which are going to crush the evil chaos that Si is about to go through.
Right, my Chaos Force today is World Eaters, and they're led by Khan the Betrayer. You know, just because.
I'm hoping he stabs the rest of your models in the back.
So, accompanying him today, we've got 10 Khorne Berserkers. Champion's got a Power Fist and a Plasma Pistol. There's a couple of extra plasma pistols in there, and then an assortment of chain swords and chain axes. We've also got a Hellbrute with a plasma cannon and the power scourge. Squad of obliterators. Should be interesting with them. Not used them in the 8th rules yet.
They're pretty good now with the chapter brew changes.
5 warp talons with their lightning claws. A squad of terminators with a mix of weapons. There's a heavy flamer, combi melter, and then there's a couple of power axes, a power maul, a power fist, and a chain fist. So. And then lastly, a couple of 5-man squads of Marines. Each has a melter gun, and then each champion has a plasma pistol. One champion has a power sword, the other a power fist.
Okay, so you join us at setup. Both of us have set up, and I have won the role to go first. So my deployment is quite compacted over here. My tactical squad are split in 2 with the chapter banner in between them. I have my stern guard there. I have my dreadnought there with Mephiston and the Death Company dreadnought over this side. I have advanced deployed my scouts up to here. The rule we came up with a fly for the kind of advanced deploying is you can advance deploy anywhere on the board as long as it doesn't take you through a locked door from your deployment zone. So I can deploy there because I can walk back to my deployment zone. There are no locked doors. But I couldn't deploy in here, say, because there is a locked door in the way. Simple enough. Sire's deployed similarly on his side. He's got his Hellbrute, he's got his Berserkers and Khan, he's got his, what are they called again? Warp Talons. He's got his 2 tacticals over there. And then he has held back in reserve his Terminators are in Deep Strike, as are his Obliterators. They're scaring me quite a lot. I have held back my Terminators and my jump pack Sanguinary Priest. He has obviously got a jump pack, but he must be in a teleportarium to Deep Strike, because obviously you can't fall from the sky into a Zone Mortalis. I have won the role to go first, as I said, so let's see if Sycan sees the initiative. If he wants to, that is. He doesn't have to.
Well, let's give it a whirl.
He has not. We're breaking that special thing where we always seize on these videos. Okay, wish us both luck. Okay, so Blood Angels turn 1. What did I do? I basically moved up in this central bit. I advanced a bit. You don't want to advance too fast, because then if you move too far in the movement phase, you've got a chance of hurting yourself. My Dreadnought opened the door, moved up to there. Mephiston's come behind. He's given these guys a 5-up invuln save. And he failed to cast wings on himself. Over here, the tactical squad have failed to make a dent in that door with their grav cannon. The scouts I deployed over here have been power fisting away at this locked door but failed to get through, but have dealt it 2 wounds, so the door has 1 wound left. I am within range of this one, so if you could flip that for me, see if I have found anything. No, nothing there. I searched that corridor in vain trying to look for the data core, but don't find it. And over here we have another one. Ah, nothing found there either. That's not so clever. It's up to the chances Si might find one on his first turn. Let's see what he can do.
Right, Chaos first turn. Well, quite interesting. Obviously, you can see everything's moved up here. So you've got my Khorne Berserkers, Warp Talons, Khan there. The Hellbrute moved up and shot at the. This is
my Death Company Dreadnought.
Death Company, that's the one. Plasma cannon, he managed to wound himself, but that actually helps the damage, and I've left it on 2 wounds.
Yeah, you get to fire twice, didn't you? And just obliterated him.
So that crazed rule is actually really handy with the plasma cannon.
Yep.
Over here, these guys basically moved over so they can grab that objective.
Oh, I'll come and flip that for you. Let's see what you've got. Oh, damn it!
Excellent. That's one of the objectives.
So they have got themselves a little data core they have managed to scavenge from the ruins.
Excellent. My other Marine squad moved up here and they managed to break through this door. Fantastic.
Yeah, more than mine could do.
Oh yeah, I'm in range of this date.
Let's
this one as
see
well.
what the Berserkers have found. Oh, no. Thank God for that.
That would have been good if it had been both. And lastly, I thought, hey, let's bring down the obliterators behind his lines. And they were quite effective. This squad's lost
He lost one
model.
dude.
And the other Marine squad has lost 3.
Yeah, even though they had the banner for a 5-up feel no painy type save, and Mephiston had given them a 5-up inbun save, still managed to wipe out over half the squad. Let's make although I don't think they can actually fail their morale. All the dice have gone to hide in that room. A 4, 5, 6, 7. No, they're fine.
Right, and that's the end of my turn. So let's see what happens next.
It's the end of Blood Angel turn 2, and boy was it bloody. Okay, so what happened this turn? My tactical marines over here, I really wanted to get through that door behind them so I could go and make a move on the ammo dump that was there. But kind of measuring it out, I couldn't get out of line of sight of the obliterators, and if I even managed to bust open the door, I couldn't move through the door. So I decided to try and take out some of the obliterators. I've got a grav cannon, which is not a bad weapon versus them. So I opened fire. The bolters predictably did nothing. With a little command point reroll, I managed to kill one of the obliterators. So reduced their fire a little bit. What else? I deep struck my terminators in over here. Because Sai had found a data core there, which is worth 2 victory points at the end of the game, I thought it was worth making a play for it. I deep struck them in there, and they brought their friendly apothecary with them, so they all managed to successfully come in. I spent a command point to stop the Terminators taking damage on the deep strike. Later on in the turn, I attempted the 9-inch charge, failed it. What else? The centre was just a mess, really. So firstly, I moved my Death Company Dreadnought, who was back here. He ran forwards to within, I think he needed a 7-inch charge on the Hellbrute there. And then he could have charged in, but he thought to himself, I know, I'll soften it up with a melter gun shot to start with. Fired in my melter gun, did 4 wounds to the Hellbrute, who then went crazed, fired his plasma cannon back at me, and blew me up in my own shooting phase. That wasn't so clever. The Contemptor Dreadnought moved here. You'll notice a distinct lack of berserkers there. Partly due to him. He moved around with his carrier's assault cannon. I think he may have killed 2. He then attempted a charge, failed it. I re-rolled the charge. He failed it again. I only needed a 5. But the Stern Guard made up for it. They'd move up to this gap here. They opened fire with their heavy flamers and special issue bolt guns. Whittled down 3 of the... I can never remember these ones' name. What are the flying ones, Si? Warp Talons. Why can't I remember that name? Managed to kill 3 of those, and then because of the failure by the Dreadnought, they charged into the Berserkers and did a right number on them. I only had 4 men go in. I cried Vengeance of Sanguinious and spent a command point on the stratagem. It means every time I roll a 6 to hit, I get an additional attack. So my Sergeant managed to, in the end, get 4 Power Fist hits in, killing 4 opposing Berserkers, and the other 3 models, I think, did 7 wounds between them, so pretty sweet. They killed another one with size saves, though, but whittled it down to 2 Berserkers in the squad, who then attacked twice back at me, as they do, and have whittled me down to just my Sergeant. So it was okay there in the end. The Stern Guard made up for the Dreadnought's bad play. Back here you can see I've got my Ancient and a couple of Plasma Gunners holding fast. Mephiston, he could have gone in for the combat, but I decided, no, let's play for the mission. So he opened this door and ran through. He cast the Psychic Power Wings of Sanguinious, which gave him an additional movement phase to get him there. This gun at the end here is, like I mentioned earlier, one of those guns from Aliens. It's a motion tracking gun. So anytime the first model that moves within its range each turn, it fires at. So if you stand still, you're fine. It's like a T-Rex. But he ran in there, weathered the fire from it, took it on his chest, as you do, landed next to the door, ripped the door open with his monstrously powerful sanguine sword, and now he is going to flip over this token, if you'd do the honours, please, Si, as he controls it at the end of the turn. I really wanted that one to be one. So Mephiston has moved to there, but he can obviously head in there and take control of the control computer next turn. Have I got any more white tokens to reveal? I don't think I have. So that was my turn. It was pretty eventful. Let's see if Si can serve up such an exciting feast of 40k action.
Right, that's the end of Chaos turn 2, and it's been quite eventful again.
Yep.
My Terminators decided to pop up here, and they've obliterated the Scout Squad.
Yeah, stood no chance, eh? Just...
My Obliterators decided to move a little shuffle over to the side, wiped out the other squad over here, which was quite handy.
Yep, no tacticals.
My Marines have basically moved around here, so they're getting away from the Terminators. There's no point trying to hack them to bits.
And they've still got the 2 victory point computer data core on them.
Yep, and but the biggest surprise was in the middle. So my Dreadnought moved up. Well, he shot the at the Contemptor first.
Yeah, I think he did me 2 wounds.
Yep. And we got into a fist.
Oh no, he didn't do me any range wounds because I made
No, that was it. Yep. We got into fist fight. I managed to do some wounds onto him, but then exploded.
Yep.
In the fight back, but you're damaged now. The last Marine here is dead, courtesy of Calm. But the explosion of my Dreadnought did kill off my last 2 Berserkers.
Yes.
And hurt Khan a little bit, but...
And I wasted 2 command points in that combat. I spent 2 command points to interrupt because Sai did his Dreadnought first, so I thought I'd Power Fist Khan, and I missed with all 3 of my Power Fist attacks, so 2 command points wasted.
So it's quite an interesting turn of events.
Let's see.
I've got another one over here as well.
Here as well. Oh blimey! This
So
could be bad.
let's do this one first.
Well, one of them. Oh no, there's one. It could be.
No, not that one.
So there's one over there that none of us are near, and then there's this one. Damn it!
Ah, yes, I got the other objective.
Damn it! So that's them, and I can't see me getting that back from them. Oh no!
So, yeah, I've wiped out quite a lot of Curly now.
I do not have much left. I've got my Terminators and the stuff in the centre, really.
So, well, we'll have to see how turn 3 pans out.
It's the end of Blood Angel's turn 3, and there's not many heroes of the Imperium left. Let's see what we did that turn. So in the centre, it was coming down to quite serious stuff here in the centre. Mephiston had broken through this door to the control computer last turn. So he could have gone in there and taken control of the control computer, but because I had hideous losses back here last turn, I decided with him to move away and try and get into some close combat because he's such a beast I can't really waste him. So he still had the fly power from the previous turn, giving him 12-inch movement. He only moved 9 so as not to accidentally bang his head on any scenery. He jumped round to about there. That gave him the wrath of the motion sensing autocannon turret at the end of the corridor here, which took a shot at him and took 2 of his wounds off, which was not good. But it only gets to fire once each turn, so that opened up the path. My banner bearer, who is now in there, was back here. He managed to roll a 6-inch on his advance, managed to not kind of trip over any terrain as he went, and is in there in control of the control computer, gaining me 2 victory points at the end of this turn, which is pretty good. Mephiston and the 2 plasma guns back here managed to take out the last 2 Warp Talons. Yay, I remember the name. And Mephiston then charged in to Khan. Unfortunately, as you can see, Khan is the only model standing. I managed to hit and get some wounds from Khan. I got 2 wounds through, doing 2d3 damage. He had 3 wounds left, 2 damage on my 2 attacks. That wasn't good. So I used my last command point, re-rolling one of the d3 damages. Came up another 1, so I only dealt him 2. So then Khan attacks me back. Sai rolled shockingly as well. Only dealt 1 wound to Mephiston. But Khan is a World Eater, and he gets to attack twice. So he then opened up with his second round of attacks and splatted Mephiston against the wall for the glory of Khorne. What else happened? Khan survived all the fire from the Dreadnought as it backed away from him. The Dreadnought has moved out of the line of fire, as you can see from the gun at the end there. We're both pretty scared of it, to be honest. So Khan is sitting pretty back there. What else happened? My Terminators, they charged around this corner and assaulted into Sai's unit. I managed to make a 9-inch charge over there. Got into Sai's unit, obviously 5 Terminators and an Apothecary versus a squad of basic Chaos Marines. I went through them. So I now have on my Sergeant over there, he has picked himself up the Data Core. So that's worth 2 VPs at the end of the game. Sai killed Mephiston, who is my Warlord. So Sai has 1 victory point, and I've gained 2 for holding that at the end of the turn. So I am 2 to 1 up, and we each have a Data Core. Let's see what happens next turn.
Right, that was my turn 3. Not exactly the most interesting. Marines have hunkered down with the ammo store.
Yep.
Khan's basically retreated. There was no point.
Run away, I think is the term.
No. Tactical withdrawal. There was no point going for the dreadnought because he'd probably get blasted apart by the cannon. The obliterators moved over. Curly locked a door, so I blew it apart. So they're sort of slowly creeping over. And lastly, my Terminators, unfortunately, they failed to utilise the communications array, but they're slowly creeping forward and staying in range of that, ready for next turn. So, compared to previous turns, really not eventful.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah. Let's see what Curly does next.
End of Blood Angels turn 4. So the game ends at the end of turn 5. What did I do here? My Dreadnought, I was tempted to run across the auto gun fire's line of fire to go and chase Khan down for a victory point, and I decided wasn't really worth it. By the time I run past that, I'd have probably lost another couple of wounds, and then I'm on a really bad profile with my Contemptor. So I decided to head this way and attempt to take out the Terminators. Even if I can't take them out, I might be able to take them off this objective a bit if I can draw them forwards, meaning Sai has less chance of gaining VPs that way. My plasma gunners, I really wanted to move just to the other side of this door, shoot his obliterators and then close the door because I have control of the central computer, but unfortunately there was no line of sight, so I had to move past the doorway, but I opened fire, overcharged both of my plasma guns and managed to kill an obliterator. Nearly killed the second one too, but not quite. My Terminators, who are all the way back here, they snaked round the corner and attempted a charge against the guys hunkered down in this barricade. It's -2 inches to assault over the barricade, so I failed my charge, and Sai unfortunately didn't do much of his Overwatch, even though he's got reroll 1s because he's in the ammo dump. That is the end of Blood Angels turn 4. I am now 4-1 up due to my control of the central computer with my lonely model there. So Sai really needs to be able to take control of both the little data core he's got there, get a VP from this, and also somehow take the data core off my other Terminators. That's his general route to victory. Let's see what he can do.
Right, another quick chaos round. So what happened? Khan's slowly meandering over this way. The guys over here took a shot at the Terminators. They did score a wound at least. The Obliterator shot one of the Marines down here, went to charge in, and the other guy decided to blow himself up.
Gotta overwatch those plasma guns.
And my Terminators have kind of spread themselves out, so they're still in range of that. And they managed to score one more wound on the Contemptor.
Yep.
So, yeah, not as dramatic as it was, but hey, we're almost finished. One turn to go.
End of Blood Angels turn 5, my last turn of the game, and actually more dramatic than you would think. So let's do the simple stuff. Down here, my Contemptor Dreadnought waded towards the Terminators, who opened fire with a fuselage of Overwatch fire and took me down. I blew up, taking out 2 of the Terminators, because one was already wounded from my Carey's autocannon fire. But Sai has sacrificed his sergeant so he can stay within range of this objective to try and get it on his turn. Over here, Khan was trying to creep up and attack my Terminator in the back, so the heroic sanguinary priest leapt from cover, charged in, took a plasma pistol to the face and buried his power sword in Khan's gut. Revenge for Mephiston! That gave me a victory point, and controlling the centre gave me 2 victory points, putting me on 7. Sai is on 1 there, so you'd think that's a pretty healthy lead. But I may have made a slight error. Over here, I charged my Terminators in versus Sai's squad here, who are hunkered down on the ammo dump. Seems simple enough. I took no damage, so that's quite nice. But unfortunately, the Terminators failed to wipe out the Space Marines there. The Lightning Claws just whiffed, as did the Thunderhammers, and Sai has 3 models left. But the trick being, he is objective secured, and I am not. So he can back 1.5 inches away from combat, and he will still be within 3 inches of the relic I'm holding, which is an objective. His objective skill lets him control it, and it lets him control the ammo dump. So that would be 3 victory points that Sai gets over there. and 2 over here. So that will put Si up to 6 victory points, meaning he is 1 shy. So let's see what he does on his turn. It is the end of Chaos turn 5 and end of the game. What did you get up to on your turn, Si?
Well, the Marines decided to retreat.
Yep.
Still in range of everything, got the VPs there.
Yeah, controlled both the box I'm holding with your OBSEC and also the ammo dump, giving you an extra victory point.
My Terminators are still there. They control the objective and they got the extra
They
points.
finally managed to decrypt the communications coming in here, made their leadership check, an extra victory point.
And just to add a little bit of revenge to things,
Yep.
my Obliterator managed to run and shoot and kill the
You see that little blob of blurry red in the distance? That was my apothecary. At very extreme 24-inch range, he was gloating over Khan's corpse and got shot in the ass by the Obliterator from the other side of the board. So, the end of the game, it is 7 victory points all. It was a bloody affair.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, that was a really good game. That's probably the best game of Zone Mortalis I've had. I think the doors really helped. I quite liked having the different zones doing different things. Yeah, really good.
I mean, I don't think I've played a game before where it's just been the zone.
Yeah, I think we've always had it as part of a game, haven't we?
And it works really well.
Yeah, it's a very different game, and I think the doors play a big part in that, because previous videos you'll have seen there's so many long sight lanes, so it still means firepower is still pretty much king, but in this there is so much close combat doing stuff. And the fact we can lock the doors, cutting down movement, like I couldn't escape through this door while the Obliterators came after me. It had a real good feel about it. Yeah, excellent. You'll definitely be breaking it out again.
I mean, in this fight particularly, the bulk of the combat was in the centre.
Yep.
It was at close quarters. I mean, it was fantastic.
Yeah, and I got my victory points more or less all from that, other than the one I got from Khan. And that's because I managed to dart through. I really liked the sentry gun. It was influencing our play quite a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if it hadn't have been there, then I might have gambled with Khan with the Dreadnought, but no, just wasn't worth the risk.
That's it, and I had to kind of soak up fire by moving past it, because it only shoots the first thing that moves in its range. That's how my standard bearer got inside there and planted his flag next to the computer console. Okay, well, we better start packing up, as the Zone Mortalis doesn't look very big, but it actually takes a fair amount of space up once you pack it up. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.